As calls for the release of hostages grow, the U.S. says a deal is near to secure the release of those hostages. About 240 people were taken hostage by Hamas during its onslaught on October 7th. And amid global outcry, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh has said that Hamas is nearing a truce agreement with Israel. Meanwhile, during a press briefing by the White House, National Security spokesperson John Kirby said that a hostage deal is close to fruition.
I know this is of great interest to all of you. I just want to let you know we're still working this hour by hour. I do not have an update for you on the hostage deal that we're trying to negotiate. But as you heard the Deputy National Security Advisor say yesterday, we believe we're closer than we've ever been. So we're hopeful. But there's still work to be done, and nothing is done until it's all done. So we're going to keep working on this.
According to a report by Reuters, the chief of Hamas says the militant group is near a truce agreement with Israel, while adding that the group has delivered its response to Qatari mediators. Meanwhile, the U.S. also says that authorities are closer to a deal than they have ever been. On the other hand, as Tel Aviv's operations in Gaza continue, Israel's ambassador to the United States, Michael Herzog, has said in an interview that Israel is hopeful that a significant number of hostages could be released by Hamas in the coming days. Separately, in Iraq, U.S. Army bases came under a drone attack. The Islamic resistance in Iraq has claimed responsibility for the attack. The country's Islamic resistance targeted the U.S. Army base camp in Iraq and Syria. The resistance also confirmed attacking western Iraq's al-Assad air base, which hosts U.S. forces. Kataib Hezbollah, a part of the Islamic resistance in Iraq, expressed its solidarity with the Gaza Strip and laid emphasis on its commitment to fight against the American-Israeli offensive. For more on this, we are being joined by John Erath, Senior Policy Director for the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. John, welcome back to WION, and thank you for coming. Qatar and the U.S. say that they are closer than ever to finding some kind of settlement to free hostages held captive by Hamas. And Qatar notably says it's the final stages. The U.S. doesn't directly deal with Hamas. So how do you see the U.S. role from here on out?
The U.S. role would be one of the sort of big brother. It would be a guarantee that both sides would be adhering to the terms of any agreement that might work out, and it would lend some legitimacy to the overall settlement arrangements.
And, you know, there's this fine line between military victory for Israel and the security of hostages that we continue to talk about. Judging from your experience, you know, you deal with arm control, non-proliferation. These weapons are very deadly on the one hand, but on the other hand, you know, these tunnels are very deep as well. Can you talk about that fine line that Israel is dealing with?
One of Israel's priorities has been to secure the release of Israeli citizens that are being held hostage. So any arrangement that would lead to this would be a positive outcome for the Israelis. So they are very eager to get their people back and hopefully unharmed. And it would certainly be in everyone's interest to see a pause in the fighting. This would allow civilians to be evacuated from the area. One of the main the most horrific aspects of the war thus far has been the effect on civilians who are caught in the middle of the fighting between Israel and Hamas, and a pause in the fighting would enable some of them to evacuate and to get to safety, and that would be very important.
Yes, indeed, and we're looking out for that. John Erath, thank you so much for joining us this morning on WION.
Thank you.